Good morning. Welcome to Morning Moments. Thank you for taking the time this morning to join us today. Today, I have a fellow Michigander. Yes, somebody from Michigan. Born in my wife was born and raised in Michigan, and I was raised in Michigan, and so it's always nice to hear a Michigander. We have from Michigan, Sandra Sheldon-McGowan. She is a recording artist, a singer, songwriter. She also hosts a TV broadcast or a broadcast that she has for devotions and working with Southern gospel music. Sandra, welcome to Morning Moments.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
It's good to hear somebody, like I said, from Michigan. I have on my wall my Detroit Tigers and Detroit Lions stuff. I'm a long suffering Detroit fan, so what can I tell you? So
1984 World Series.
that's it. 84, 68. Those are the two I remember. And so yes, and they're kind of out of it this year too, but that's typical. So, well, Sandra, tell us a little bit about yourself. What do you do, and why do you do it?
Well, my real job is I'm a dental hygienist. I do it because it pays my bills. The rest of my life is a plethora of what I think I should be doing in other areas. So the fact that I have a career and a job that pays the bills really does free me up to do other things that don't always bring money in, but I feel like I should be doing. So kind of takes the pressure off there. The house payment's made and I can do other things. But yeah, I grew up here. I haven't moved too far. I'm currently living in Owasso, Michigan, about 4 miles from where I was born. Um, I did live in Tallahassee, Florida for about 14 years, and I moved back home in 2001. So been back home for quite a few years, and just living my life. I was raised in a Christian home. I did not get saved right away. I was kind of that kid. My parents probably didn't know what to do with me, and I'm pretty sure my mom still doesn't know what to do with me at times. But I got saved when I was 32. I was the mother of three children by that time. And probably that had a lot to do with it because I had these three human beings that I was responsible for. And I knew I wasn't living where I should be living. And got saved, started attending church, a little Nazarene church in Cairo, Georgia. And those people became family and still are family. And as we grew, we started singing. I had grown up in a singing family. My mom and dad and my two brothers and I sang at revivals and camp meetings when I was a kid. And so singing came quite naturally, and I would sing at home with the kids. And so we started singing at church. And then a few years later, we moved to Michigan and started singing up here. And my husband, he could not carry a tune very well, but he was really, really proud of his kids. And so the next thing I know, he's ordering sound equipment and booking things. And I'm thinking, why do we need a subwoofer? What is a subwoofer? It's like, and we kept getting packages at the door and spending money. And like, I was, so that even that I came by just, I don't want to say accident, but I don't think God works that way, but just little by little. And we started singing out, and then we started getting bookings for churches, and the kids were growing, and that's where our singing group started. And about 9 years ago, it'll be 9 years ago this fall, my husband he was a police chief at a small town near us, and he had gone off to a chief's meeting, and they called me at work, and they had found him. He had had a massive heart attack and passed away. So had four kids at home. My oldest daughter was out of the house, but had moved back in. And then the three that sang with us. And Tyler, my youngest, was 9. And we really had to regroup and where do we go from here? You know, if anybody's been through that, and I know a lot of people out there have been. I was 46 and you know, we had concerts scheduled and I'm looking at the kids. We didn't even know how to run our sound equipment. He would do the sound equipment, he would schedule. And I said, are we going to keep singing? What do you guys want to do? You want to cancel this stuff? What, you know, we were a mess, obviously. And they're like, no, we want to keep singing. And I said, okay, well, and we'll figure out what we're doing and just go with it as much as we can do. So my daughter, Amanda, she's like, you know, actually, I have on my phone, Dad had me take pictures of the soundboard and where you plug stuff in. And I think I have all these pictures on my phone, you know, and so she starts going back and sure enough, here's these things and we're zooming in and saying, okay, well, this thing goes here where this blue piece of tape is. And talking about, we knew nothing about it. And we did our first concert um, maybe 3 weeks after the funeral. And it was amazing. A lot of people just crowded in. I know they were probably just wondering how we were doing. And I'm not sure really what it sounded like, but we did it. And from then on, we just kept. And right after that, we had started our second CD, and then everything happened, and so that got put on the back burner. Then I said to the kids, I said, well, I said we should go ahead and do it. I said, but why don't we name it Heaven? And we'll dedicate it to your dad and we'll just do all songs about heaven. And so it kind of gave us, during a really horribly bad, dark time, it gave us focus. And it was kind of a time capsule for us, and we could just pour ourselves into that um, CD. So that's what we did. Um, we took my little boy, he was little at the time, he was in Cub Scouts, took him to Cub Scouts one night, and it was held at a church, and we went in the back and found a hymnal, and we started looking at songs about heaven and for ideas for the CD, and we only found like 1,050 or something like that. So we narrowed it down to, I don't know, 10 or 11 and started recording. And one of the coolest things on that Heaven CD, this is like I think in 2014, we had in the background playing He Hideth My Soul, which was one of the songs that the congregation sang at the funeral. We had the kids read scriptures that were important to them and that pulled them through some really dark times. And I had them read them in their little voices. And I read things that were important to me during that time. So it was really healing for us, and it was just out there. And so that was Heaven. And a few years later, or 2 years later, we recorded another one, Healing Power. That was the first CD that I wrote some songs, and the name wasn't an accident either, because God does heal, and the healing had started to take place. And you know, you're working through all kinds of emotions. And then we had a Christmas album a couple years later, and now just a couple years ago we did our latest one, was So Many Reasons. I wrote a couple of songs on there. So a lot of the last few years have been around music, and we're not a professional group, I guess that we do it. All of us work outside of singing. My daughter's in EMS. My son is in law enforcement. He's a Michigan State trooper. Tyler, the baby that was 9, is now 18, and we took him to college last weekend. He's going up to Northwestern Michigan for aviation. He got his pilot's license last year. He wants to be an airline pilot. So booking concerts has been a little more challenging, but everybody still wants to sing. It's funny. I figured, you know, when my daughter got married, they just had their first baby. Chad went through the academy, you know, just a lot going on in life. And I'm still working as a dental hygienist. And I thought maybe everybody would, you know, get pulled apart. But, you know, I think the more it gets busy with everything else, when we have concert scheduled and we get together and we know what we're doing, we won't know what direction we're heading, I think we enjoy singing now more than we ever have.
Yeah.
Um, we sing, we do instruments. I play keyboard and saxophone, my daughter's saxophone. And now my my boys are trumpets. And now my son's getting married. His fiance plays the flute. She sings with us also. My other son that's in aviation, his girlfriend also flies. She's been singing with us, playing her oboe and her clarinet. Um, it just really got big in a hurry. My son-in-law, who is also a state trooper, plays the drum. So he sings a couple songs, plays drums. So it's been very interesting. All of a sudden, it went from this little group to there's 8 of us. We went to a church. I'm sorry, you were gonna say
I
something.
was just thinking only God could put an oboe player to a Southern gospel group, right?
This is true. This is true. And such a cute oboe player she is. People just love her. Her name's Willow, and just a sweet girl. So she's the last one to come aboard. So she's there almost every concert that we do, and it's her and Tyler usually running the product table and talking with all the people. And it's funny. A few years ago, I asked Tyler. I said, "What do you enjoy about singing the most?" And he said, "Once the concert's all done and we go back to the table and we talk to people."
Yeah.
And he was probably 12, 13 years old at the time. And I thought, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
The Southern gospel, honestly, it's mostly older people, and he couldn't wait just to connect with those people. And, through everything that our family's been through, I think that people underestimate what a blessing they've been to us, because we go to minister, they minister to us. They hug my kids. They watched them grow up. It's just been a give situation all the way around.
There are some of you that are listening to this today, and you were just thinking you were going to get another interview, and you're in the midst of some grief and loss right now. And you're going, what can I do? How can I fill this void? What's going on? And I can tell you, by getting involved and seeking God and say, God, what do you have for me to do next?
Life isn't over.
It's not over. Now what's next? And when you ask God what's next and surrender to him, he'll say, all right, part of your healing will be doing what you need to
Right.
do. And
Right.
there'll be a time for that. And some of you may feel like that your life is over, but it's not.
Nope,
And I
absolutely
think
not.
Sandra's here for some of you who's listening to it right now, saying, yeah, God, put me there, put me in wherever you need me so I can feel again. Because
Yep.
you may be right now feeling numb and
Yep.
saying, I just don't feel anything.
It looks dark.
It looks very dark.
It just looks dark.
But God is there. He's faithful. He's going to help you. He'll be those times of sadness and depression. He sees you. He's going to bring you to the other side. Some information on
Okay.
on the Facebook, and also YouTube if you're listening to it from there, where they could listen to your concerts, get your material, get your songs, get your albums and such. But more important than that, if you are in that area, you want to reach out to her or myself and say, it's touched my heart. I need to know more. I need to know. Please do. Please reach out in the contact that Sandra's going to give you, and also to myself. And some of you are watching this for a true reason. Also, after you look at their website and look at what they're doing, please take the time to pray for them. God's healing them. It's still a
Absolutely.
process. It's still a
Still a
process.
process.
He is not done with this.
That's right.
We thank you for showing us for Morning Moments. We're going to have to do this again and hear the
Okay.
rest of that story. All right.
All righty.
God bless you, and keep coming back for some more Morning Moments.